We're here today with Lawrence Weakley. We've been talking to him not only about his journey with sickle cell disease, but what it's been like for him to share it with the world. Lawrence, thank you for taking out the time to be with us, man.
You're welcome.
Well, Lawrence, one of the things that our viewers will be able to hear is actually a radio interview that we recently did where you kind of opened up a little bit about your journey. I mean, what has it been like for you to actually share with people not only what you've been living with, but also how you've chosen to live with it?
It's an experience. Like like I told you earlier, I'm really antisocial, so you know, it takes a lot for me to open up, man. But hopefully, I can help somebody.
Right.
Hopefully.
And you've been living with this for quite some time. I mentioned that you and I go way back. I've known you most of my life, and in school, of course, I would know sometimes we wouldn't see you. Sometimes things were going on. What is it like for you to finally let people know not only what you were living with, but also exactly what you've been able to learn about the disease that is sickle cell disease?
Well, it's rejuvenating. Hopefully, I can help some young kid that's coming up. Because like I told you on the interview, when you don't know, it's a hard fight. But when you're knowledgeable, it's easier to deal with. And hopefully, I can help somebody.
One of the things, speaking of knowledge, Lawrence, one of the things that we talked about is the importance of knowing the people in your lives. For one thing, opening up to them, letting them know, especially those who are potential mates. I mean, how important have those conversations been like for you to share?
Ah, well, you know, um, it's hard for me to open up, but once I step out here, it gets easier. But I thank God for my family and friends, that that stood by my side when I was going through the hard times. Because when I was younger, as you know, I did have some hard times. I missed a lot of school, and a lot of my peers that grew up with me didn't even know I was sick. They just didn't know. I just disappeared. So
Right.
it's a process.
It
Does
is
that
a
answer your
process.
question?
Yeah, it answered the question. It answered the question. But
And
would
then
you?
some.
But yeah. But then some. But then I want to talk about though the conversation because it is something that needs to be talked about. One of the things you said in the radio interview that people will hear is the importance of knowing that this is something that we can all fight together. I mean, why is that important for you to share that information?
Because I just feel like when you look on social media, you see AIDS Day, Breast Cancer Day, but you never really see people talking about black people because it affects black people and other minorities. Um, you don't really see them pushing to get the information out. We can stop this disease or maybe eradicate it. If we talk about it, get some dialect going. Communicate and just let people know. It takes two. You know, with the trait
Right.
for in order for the disease to keep going. So
Exactly.
if you talk to your spouse, your significant other, and get that information going, then we might be able to do something about this disease.
It is a disease that does affect a lot of people, Lawrence, as you talked about here as well as on the radio interview. But it also, I think, is something that can, I mean, if you are taking care of yourself, it's something that you can live with. How has that helped you in not giving up, realizing that this is something that does not have to get the best of you?
Well, it's manageable, and like I said, and it's manageable because of knowledge. And the support system that I was speaking of. And the more you know about it, the more you can fight. You got to stay hydrated. You just got to talk about it. Do some research, find out how it works. And all of those things coupled together, you might be successful.
One of the things that we talked about on the radio interview, Lawrence, I think is so important. And if people are not already, make sure you all are following Lawrence on Facebook at Chico Weekly is where you guys can find him there. But one of the things we talked about is not knowing, knowing that you're not by yourself. I mean, how has that helped you and realize that you're not the only one that's dealing with this and that you're not by yourself in being able to stand against a disease?
Well, I got somebody I can talk to. When I go to the clinic, and I see all the faces and all the young people, and you know, we converse and they tell me their stories and I tell them mine, and you find hope in it. Hopefully I could be help to somebody out there, that's about to give up. They can look at me and see that you can persevere. No matter what the struggle may be. Because I've been in a coma at least 5 times, at least. And like I say, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know.
Right.
So it's important that we talk about it.
Important. And we're so glad that you're a part of that conversation. Lawrence, thank you so much for the time today. Really appreciate it, man, and wishing you nothing but the best, man.
All right, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the opportunity, man, to get the word out, man. So maybe it'll get the ball rolling. Maybe somebody will see this and they'll have the same fire behind their drive and it'll spread.
All right, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.